Hello and welcome back to Simon's Rants. I'm Simon and today I'm giving my on second thought on Liar Liar. I forget how to do this intro. I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and get back into these. I've been really busy, but I'm going to try and get this going again. This is your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen it yet and you don't want anything spoiled, you should go away, watch it, come back, and we can talk about it then. Now, in case you don't know, Liar Liar is a 1997 film directed by Tom Shadyac and starring Jim Carrey. And in case you forgot, Tom Shadyac is the director also of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, which essentially started Jim Carrey's career. I know he was in stuff before that, but that was the first movie to get him worldwide recognition. And his last movie before this was The Cable Guy, which, as I talked about in that movie, was his first flop as a star actor. So in essence, Tom Shadyac started Jim Carrey's career and brought his career back to life in Liar Liar, which was a huge success. Back then, it was considered one of his best comedies, and I think it still holds up. I think it's still great. But anyway, in case you don't know the plot of this film, it follows Jim Carrey, who plays a lawyer. He's good at his job, but he's not very good at home. He never really turns off the lying. He never really leaves his work behind. He always puts it as the first priority, and that leads to him lying to his son. It's kind of debatable if he's actually trying to lie to his son or if he's just that not with it, but the end result is that he's unfaithful to his son. When he says he's gonna do something, he doesn't do it. So his son, for his birthday, makes a wish that his father can never lie, and from there, things go crazy in the way that only Jim Carrey can do. As you can imagine, this plot is hilarious. There's so many things that you can do with it that are great. Now, I think a lot of great comedians could have done a lot of great things with this plot. This plot is very easy to turn into comedy gold, but I think Jim Carrey brought a level of physical comedy to it that no other actor ever could have. And I think that's been proven by the fact that this kind of movie's been remade so many times. Even Jim Carrey made a soft remake in Yes Man, and then you've got Eddie Murphy's 1,000 Words, and then even Adam Sandler's Click was sort of similar, although it was more like Bruce Almighty, but that's a whole separate conversation. My point is, it's never been done quite this well. This is the best version of this story I've seen. Now, obviously, it's not perfect. This plot isn't the most complex thing you've ever seen. You're gonna come across some plot holes and the weird fantasy elements of this. It also raises several questions because he's not supposed to be able to lie, but then he says some things that you question, are they really a lie, or is that true, or what is it? Like at one point he says that it's all about willpower. If he can just control himself, he can combat it. And that doesn't seem to be true, but maybe it is and he just wasn't strong enough? It's an interesting question. It's not necessarily a plot hole, but it's opening up a whole box of stuff that we never get into. But that's not the point of this movie. This movie isn't supposed to be in depth. It's not supposed to be deep. It's extremely shallow, and that's not a bad thing. Because this movie's about the comedy a lot, yes, but it's also about the sentimentality of it. Because this movie does a great job being funny. It does a great job having funny situations and moments and one-liners and all of that. But it also has a great family focus. The dynamic between Jim Carrey and Mara Turney and Justin Cooper is so good. I just love the family dynamic. It feels so real. It feels so genuine. This is so rare in movies, honestly. I've talked about in other movies where it's so obvious that the parent is acting and he doesn't actually care about the kid, and maybe the kid really looks up to the adult and sees him as a father figure, but the adult doesn't really care, or maybe they're just like, oh, it's a cute kid. This felt real to me, and it really felt like the actors brought something to it that wasn't necessarily in the script. And maybe it was, I don't know, but it felt like there was an extra level to it that they all brought to it, like they were bringing themselves to it. And that's honestly just something that separates movies like Liar Liar with the average comedy that we get. There's a lot of comedies like that that are just trying to be funny and nothing else. A lot of great comedies like Airplane or Anchorman, that's their one focus, is they're trying to be funny and literally nothing else. And I think that's why I appreciate Jim Carrey movies so much. And it's not like he wrote all of them or anything, but his presence in the movie as well as his foresight to pick the right kind of movies really brought a type of movie to the forefront of his career. And that's movies that are funny but have a meaning to them. I just mentioned about how in The Cable Guy, nobody really got the message that Jim Carrey was going for at first. Nobody really liked that. But I also brought up in Dumb and Dumber how that movie had no right being as much of a bromance as it was. And similarly, in Liar Liar, the comedy is great. It's outstanding. It's amazing writing, amazing directing, amazing comedic timing, and just all around hilarious. But what made this movie stand out and stand the test of time, to me at least, is the realness and the emotional connection that you have with these characters and this family. Altogether, it's just a silly movie about a guy who can't lie. That's it. It's not complicated. It's not some deep philosophical point that's being made. There's nothing really there to it. It's just silly. But when you add in this depth, this emotional depth with the family, then it becomes something more memorable. And some people don't honestly want that in a comedy. They just want a comedy to be funny. They just want something to laugh at, and that's all they really want in a comedy. But for me personally, I like a little bit of substance. It doesn't have to be a lot. I just want to know that the filmmakers cared. I just want to know that there's a meaning behind the story. And I get that sometimes, a lot of times, the motive behind a movie is just simply to entertain, and that's fine. That's its own kind of movie. This movie had heart, and to me, that makes it more memorable and makes it last longer and more meaningful to me. So yeah, that's what I had to think about Liar Liar. I think it's hilarious. I think it's one of Jim Carrey's best comedies, one of his best movies, period. And of course, Tom Shadyac was a great comedy director. He was great. He was at his peak here, and I just honestly wish that he and Jim Carrey worked together more. They worked together 3 times, and I think it would be a great time for maybe, I don't know, a reunion? That's probably not going to happen, I know, but I would love to see it. So what do you guys think, though? Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought, and also don't forget to like, share, and if you're new here, subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.